Stephen Bacon, Belfast Telegraph, Tiernan.
Know you well.
Tiernan, you've led Larne in many big matches. You've done fantastic work for this football club. Would you classify this one as the biggest one that you have been involved in yet, given the global appeal of it all, and also how you feeling about
it? Yeah, I suppose your next game is always the biggest one. I think there's probably a great interest in this one right across the whole island of Ireland, the north-south, north-east-south, and champions of the Republic and champions of the North, and all goes with it. So there is that wee extra space to it, absolutely. But it's definitely a game that we're really looking forward to. It's a great challenge for us. I think it's a great challenge, not just for us as a team, but also for us as a league. And I think there's a lot of people ask of how close are we to that league, or are we level, are we still a little bit behind, and hopefully we can show tomorrow night that there isn't that much between us.
When the draw was made, was this a match that you were targeting, thinking, right, then we can get points from this?
No, not really, to be honest with you. We don't necessarily work like that at the club. It's always the next game. We try never to look too far ahead, and it's very difficult. The players will tell you. I think it's really important, because of the information that we try to give for the next game, that we try not to confuse them. So we always try and keep it as simple as we can, and only concentrate on what's in front of us.
Okay, anybody else? Gareth Fuller from Belfast Live, Tiernan, how are you?
Good.
Tiernan, I think I heard you talking at the weekend. Do you sort of feel as if you're sort of flying the flag from Irish to get into a game like this?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And it's something that we're enjoying and embracing. And we've talked about it internally. Very proud of our league and the ability and the quality that's in our league, and hopefully we can go now and give a really good account of ourselves. I probably harp on about this week in, week out, about the quality that's in this league, and not just from a player's perspective, but from a manager's and coach's perspective. And I don't think we probably get the credit that we deserve. I think some of that we bring on ourselves because there's a lack of belief in some of the things that we do, all of us included, and that's something that we're working internally to try and change, because as I say, I do think there's a huge amount of ability in this league. I think there's a huge amount of growth in this league, and it's important for us tomorrow night that we can try and show what we're all about.
Just one for Andy. Obviously Carl Frampton and Patrice Evra have been up to the club this week. What was that like for the players?
Yeah, obviously it was great. Two guys that have been at the highest level in their sports, and just try to tap into their mindset when they were at the top of their game. So no, it was really good to have them about the place this week.
John
McKay from UEFA. Tiernan, we've been speaking to a lot of fans the last couple of days. They're all really excited to get started. I'm sure you want to put on a performance tomorrow night and beyond to give them something to cheer about. Yeah,
100%. I think looking at the game, you've probably two teams here that want to play a decent brand of football, so it definitely has the ingredients of a good game, especially for the neutral. And as I say, it's important that we can go out there tomorrow night and be brave and enjoy the occasion, make sure we don't freeze in the occasion, and that we can play the football that we know we're capable of.
And for you personally, it must be one of your career highlights so far.
Yeah, listen, we loved every minute of the whole experience of being at this level, and not sure how much I enjoy the razzmatazz and everything that goes with it, and so many press and cameras in your face every day, but it's definitely the level that the players want to be at and the club wants to be at, and we keep telling ourselves the more we do this, the better we'll get at it, and hopefully that will be the case.
Hi, Neil Over from the Irish Sun. Can I just ask about Shamrock Rovers? They're fairly fluid in how they play. Are they difficult to pick up? Like, you have forward players dropping deep into their own half to get receive the ball. Does that require a lot of discipline then to play against them?
I'll tell you tomorrow night. Yeah, we've obviously watched a lot of Rovers. We keep an eye on the League of Ireland games, and we go to as many of them as we possibly can, even prior to the draw. So we know how good a team they are. They have some top individual players, and we know tomorrow night's going to be a huge challenge for us. But again, as we keep saying, it's a challenge that we have to embrace and a challenge that we have to enjoy. You ask any player, and they want to play against the best. They want to challenge themselves against the best, and Rovers have proved down below that over the last 4 or 5 years that they're definitely the best.
And is it in any way advantageous that when this falls, from your point of view, that they've got 2 league games to try and win the league, that maybe it's difficult for them to keep focused on 2 different challenges in such a short space of time?
No, I think they've been in this position before, so I don't think that there'd be too many of them going into tomorrow night at 5:45 when the whistle blows, thinking about Dundalk on Monday night. I think that their focus and concentration will be the next 94-95 minutes, and our mindset going into this is that we have to concentrate on the things that we know we're good at. We also know that they're a very talented side, and they've got players on the pitch that can hurt you. But most teams in the Irish League have top players that can hurt you, as we've already seen this year. So as I say, it's just important that we know and we stand up to the challenges that are in front of us.
Stephen, any freelance? Tiernan, thanks for joining us. Tiernan, previously talked to me about European adventures. You've suggested that maybe there's across the board in Northern Ireland a lack of belief, possibly harking at an inferiority complex. Massive game tomorrow night, Champions of Ireland, we know the significance of it. Do you sense has that changed the sense of inferiority possibly in Europe? Do you feel going in that there's an inferiority complex going up against Rovers? And how do you manage the game? Do you get the players up, or do you sample it down?
Somebody just mentioned about Carl Frampton being in with us during the week, and we asked Carl to speak to the players because a double weight world champion from, no disrespect, but a very working class area of Belfast and Northern Ireland, and as he said himself, he'd no God-given right to be a double world champion. And I think that's our mentality, that we've no God-given right to sit at the top table. And that's one of the big things that we have to change. And as I say, we're working very hard internally to try and get these players to understand the ability that they have. And I don't think Larne had any God-given right to play group stages, but we've shown now that we can do it, and we have to get belief from it, and we have to get these players playing with a belief that they can compete against Shamrock Rovers, and actually they can more than compete against Shamrock Rovers if they're right at the top of their game tomorrow night. And for 57 minutes they showed that they could compete against Molde. And I think the more we do that, football's all about belief, it's all about confidence, it's all about stepping up and embracing the challenge and embracing the pressure and the confidence that they have in themselves. And as I say, we're hoping and praying that the more we do this, the more work that we can get done, that the more they'll enjoy this and start to really believe.
Thanks, Tiernan. And for Andy, I can ask you, Andy, goals win games, we all know that, the responsibility will lie with you and your colleagues. I would like to ask you, you're a seasoned professional, you forged a great partnership with Lee Bonus, who's a younger, maybe raw recruit coming into the club. You've now, have you got the same, you've got 2 younger guys in Matty Lusty, and Benji McGee, I shouldn't have forgotten it because he scored last week. Compare and contrast, if you know what I mean. Where are the goals going to come from? You, the younger charges, what do you see your role being tomorrow night in terms of
Sub.
goals for
Sub.
We're very much a unit. We defend as a team and we attack as a team. But in terms of Benji and Matty, both of them are very good young talents. And you speak about Lee leaving, obviously Lee was a big part, but it's up to us and to step up now, and I don't think you ever get 2 players the same. and we're all very different types of players. So me being the more experienced one, the kind of responsibility kind of lies on my shoulders to try and help them and guide them through these big games.
Anybody hasn't asked a question yet? Like to do so? Adam?
Adam McKendry, Belfast Telegraph. Andy, can I ask you to expand on what Tiernan was saying there about he's trying to get you guys to believe that you can compete with these teams? How have you seen this squad's belief grow since maybe the first European games that you played? And do you still feel like you guys have more believing to do in yourselves?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the biggest things is it's been a big learning curve for us. I think you can see that for the first couple of European games that we played. It's learning from your mistakes. When you make mistakes at the highest level, you tend to get punished. But I think you can see as the campaigns have went on, we've really learned. And at the end of the day, we're here in merit, and it's important that we believe we can go and compete.
Anyone else? Okay, happy to throw the floor open if anybody has any other questions.
Happy days. This is where we get the fun bit now.
Stephen, finish me.
Tiernan, there's been a lot of jealousy towards Larne and the success that has been built over the last 7 years, but you've said yourself you're representing the Irish League. Would you welcome support from other Irish League fans tomorrow night in this League of Ireland versus Irish League battle?
I think it's a necessity, Stephen. I think that's definitely how they should be looking at this, and I try never to get into the financials, but Larne's success of getting the group stages not only helps the co-efficiency of the whole league and the country, but also helps financially into the other clubs. And I think it's important that, and roles will be reversed at some stage. It probably won't always be Larne, I hope it is, but I don't think that will be the case. We will have to get behind other clubs, and we'll have to support the league, and the more we can turn it into a north v south, for me, the better, and the more we can roll our sleeves up and make sure that this is a bit of a battle. Well, not a bit of a battle, it's a battle, and that's that, and that we can embrace that battle. That's what we have to look at.
Does the Windsor Park factor make this a different match if it had been at Edinburgh?
Yeah.
How so?
Without a doubt. I think the pitch, for starters, and also I think Edinburgh can be a little bit more intimidating. Smaller stadium, bigger crowd. I think the big crowd tomorrow won't have the same impact because of the size of the stadium. So the dream would have been to take it back to Edinburgh and what we know and how we know it. But again, we'll enjoy tomorrow night.
And on that, Andy, you have a good record at Windsor. You won the title there last season, so can you sort of live off that and use that to your advantage?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. We've been here and had a decent enough record here. So it's, you can speak about pitches and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's 11v11, and it's up to us to go and take our game to them.
Have you felt an extra buzz because it's an All-Ireland showdown, as it were?
Yeah, I think so. It's, as the gaffer said there, it's a big build up to this game, and the players are kind of felt that, and it's important that we feed off that.
Stephen?
Just a quick sort of check up on the squad. Anybody have any concerns ahead of the game tomorrow night? Any last minute fitness checks? Or?
No, those that have been carrying knocks are still carrying those knocks, unfortunately. So there won't be any major changes.
Okay, any other questions? Any final ones?
Tiernan, is Patrice ever a Larne fan now?
He's actually a Larne player. We just signed him last night. He's going to play up front, to be honest with you. Struggling up front at the moment, so need a centre forward.
What's that experience for him like, just talking to the players, passing on his experience?
Yeah, listen, anybody that has played at the level that he's played at, with the players he's played with and the managers he's worked under, He's actually going to take a little bit of. I was fortunate enough to spend a wee bit of time with him last night, and he's going to spend he's going to spend a wee hour with the players now, and just share some of his stories. And I think the big thing that we're trying to get through is our levels of professionalism, and it all needs to change, not just from a Larne perspective, but from a league-wide perspective. That I think we have to stop thinking about a part-time league and part-time mentalities, and we now need to get out of our comfort zones and push. And I think having spent that time with him last night, and he talked about his time at Man United, and he talked about his time at Juventus and playing for the French national team, and the levels of professionalism of some of those top players. And you obviously read all these books and watch all these documentaries about the Michael Jordans and the LeBron Jameses, but that's actually how those top players behave. And some of the players that he played with, and Ronaldo, and some of the French players, and some of the players in Italy, they're just a different level, and hence they've had the careers that they've had.
Does it frustrate you a little bit sometimes, the sort of the part-time attitude and viewpoint?
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm actually very fortunate, not him, but our boys are a great bunch of boys, and they more often than not, they do really embrace the things that we've tried to introduce. We also have to realise that you can't go from A to Z. You got to go through the alphabet in this, and it takes a wee bit of time, and there's a process to all of this. And are we where we want to be? No, absolutely not. Have we made good progress? Yes, but there's still way more in us, and there's still so much more I think that we need to do to try and get closer to being the finished article.
I think Carl touched on it. It's like professionalism is like a 24/7 thing. It's not just when you're in the group, from players' perspective.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the progression in the Irish League over the last 5, 10, 15 years, it's night and day in my opinion, and it's definitely on the up. But as I say, I think there's so much more can be done, and I think even if you look around the league now and the young managers that are in the league, they're now starting to think differently, and they're now wanting more. And you look at now Coleraine wanting to go or being full time. Jim Irvine and Ballymena are now starting to want to talk about going full time and pushing more and wanting more. And I think that's brilliant for our league. I think that will make a massive difference, not just to the actual league itself, but I think it'll also make a massive difference when our teams get into Europe. And for a long time, I know when I was at the Glens, the European venture was a little bit of a jolly up, and I think those days are long gone.
Are you one of those people, Tiernan, that would like to see summer football and essentially to have the same sort of calendar as the League of Ireland?
Yeah, and I think that's not just because it's from a coaching perspective. Yes, because I think it's much easier to train at the Cliff in July than it is in January. But I think even for the work that you want to get done on the pitch, when it's a better day, a brighter day, a nicer day, I think you get so much more done rather than dark mornings and cold mornings and frost on the ground and all goes with it. But I think if you look at our game against RFS, and I'm not saying if we'd had 20 games in, we'd have beat RFS by any stretch, but we would have been able to approach the game very differently. And I think they were 18 games in when we played them, and we played 3 pre-season friendlies. So I do definitely think that a summer season will make a massive difference to not just the league, but also the European venture.
And League of Ireland sides are at an advantage then, in your opinion, because of that?
I think so, yeah. I think so. And I've been to a lot of League of Ireland games, and I think even just the atmosphere at times down there, because it's a decent summer's night, and people coming out in bigger crowds, and I think that definitely makes a difference.
Can I ask one more, just here on the view, just if you've got to use artificial pitches? I don't know if you're aware, Ray Higgins came out and quite vocal about his opposition to artificial surfaces, even though they do have one up around the well. Do you have any concerns? I'm looking around the Irish League, plethora of injuries. Most teams either play on or either train on artificial surfaces. Been successful for Larne. Any views about what Rory said? He doesn't like it. Your views?
I think if you were given us the choice, you would always take grass. I totally get where the league and the clubs are with the benefits of having artificial pitches, because unfortunately we're not blessed with the resource of teams in England or Scotland where you have your own training pitches, and you have a number of pitches that can resource the academy and the women's teams and all goes with it. But I do definitely agree with Rory, and I think every club should have a grass pitch. But again, if you offered me, no disrespect to Coleraine, but if you offered me to play Coleraine on a 3G or the pitch they had before, I'm taking the artificial. But I think if it's a grass pitch that's going to be maintained to the standard, then you're going to take a grass pitch all day long.
Maybe could have just asked Andy for a player's point of view. I don't know, Andy, over in Scotland, if you played majority of artificial surfaces or you grew up playing on turf pitches. From you, your own personal look, or even talking amongst players, teammates, opposition, anybody, players, any concerns about playing on artificial surfaces? Any boys complaining about maybe being prone to particular types of injury because of the artificial surfaces that you're aware of?
Not that I'm particularly aware of. I've kind of been brought up all my days really playing on 3G and artificial surfaces as you're coming through the academies, and teams can't afford to have grass pitches and for their academies as well. So I'm kind of used to it. But if you offered majority of players would rather play in a decent grass or an Astro, they're going to pick the grass.
Thanks very much, guys.
Can we just ask Andy one more?
Mm-hmm.
Andy, what's the people in Scotland think of the Larne story, and you've played such a big part in it?
Yeah, obviously I've got a lot of friends and family back home, and people maybe when they watched the Irish League before and seen us qualify, it brings extra eyes and ears onto the league, and I think that's going to filter through a lot more countries by us getting to this stage. So it's good for us personally as a club.
And another hat-trick tomorrow?
Ideally.
He's on the bench though, you said?
He is, actually, yeah.
Make it 1 in 20 minutes.